Good morning, students. So today we are going to discuss the next part of haloalkanes and haloarenes chapter. Here we are going to discuss the properties of haloalkanes and haloarenes and how to prepare haloarenes. So first of all, preparation of haloarenes. The very first method is from hydrocarbons by electrophilic substitution reaction. So in this, what we do, we have to prepare aryl chlorides and aryl bromides first. So for that, what we take haloarenes. Okay, we take not haloarenes, we take arenes. We take arenes. We react those arenes with halogen. Now, since we are going to prepare either chloro or bromo product, so either we have to take chlorine or bromine in the presence of a Lewis acid. Lewis acid can be iron or iron chloride. Okay, so this results in the formation of one molecule of HX, and because of electrophilic substitution there is formation of halo product also. So what happens in this case? H atom goes out, and from this one X gets attached in place of H. So there is formation of ortho product, as well as ortho product is also formed and para product is also formed. Along with these main products there is formation of HX also. Okay. Now see, these are the products formed and these are to be separated. They are having a lot of difference in their melting points, so they can be easily separated. Okay. Now see, we cannot prepare fluoro products because fluorine is very much reactive in nature, so it cannot be used for these reactions. Okay. Now if we want to prepare iodo product, then what is there? See, reactions with iodine are reversible in nature. Okay. If I take iodine, then that reaction is reversible in nature. So that requires the presence of an oxidizing agent. There must be some oxidizing agent so that when HI will be formed. Now see, just like in case of Cl2 or Br2, there was formation of HBr or HCl. Okay. Similarly, in case of I2, there will be formation of HI. So that HI should be oxidized during this process. Okay. So iodo product can also be prepared when we use iodine, okay, in the presence of this oxidizing agent. Okay, so next method is to prepare by Sand-Meier's reaction. This is very important reaction, Sand-Meyer reaction, and in this reaction we use amines. So primary amines are used for this reaction. Now what the reaction is? First of all, we take primary amine just like aniline. Aniline is treated with a mixture of sodium nitrite and halogen acid. Okay, now see, we have to prepare either bromo product or chloro product in this case. First of all, for iodo product there is some different procedure and fluoro products cannot be obtained. Okay, so when we have to prepare chloro or bromo product, then we have to take the mixture of sodium nitrite and halogen acid of that particular halo group. Okay, now that particular mixture will help in formation of diazonium salt. So aniline first of all gets converted into benzene diazonium halide. Okay, whichever halo group we have taken. If you have taken chloro group, then it will be benzene diazonium chloride. If we have taken bromo group, then it will be benzene diazonium bromide. Now whichever halo group we have taken, similar compound with copper will be taken. Like if I have taken benzene diazonium chloride, then I have to take cuprous chloride. If I have taken benzene diazonium bromide, then I have to take cuprous bromide. So this X should be same over here. Then this benzene diazonium halide will form aryl halide. Okay, and that halo group will get attached, which is common in both, and nitrogen will be liberated as gas. Okay, So this is called Sand-Mears reaction, where there are two steps. In the very first step, primary amine, that is aniline, changes to benzene diazonium halide by the use of sodium nitrite and halogen acid mixture. Then the benzene diazonium halide formed is treated with cuprous halide, and this forms aryl halide, and nitrogen comes out as a gas. Okay. If we have to prepare hydroderivative, then what is to be done? We have to simply shake benzene diazonium halide with potassium iodide, and this will form hydrobenzene, and nitrogen will come out. So because this potassium iodide, this is having larger reactivity value. Okay, so it is easier. Now let us discuss the physical properties of these compounds. So first of all, alkyl halides, they are colorless when pure. However, bromides and iodides, they develop some color when exposed to light. So when they are exposed to light, then they develop some color. Otherwise they are colorless when they are pure. Okay. Many volatile halogen compounds have sweet smell. So some of the volatile halogen compounds, they are sweet smelling liquids. Okay. Now first of all, let us discuss about the melting and boiling points. Now methyl chloride, methyl bromide, ethyl chloride and some chlorofluoromethanes, they are gases at room temperature. So few compounds of alkyl halides, they exist in the form of gas at room temperature. And as we move ahead, then the higher members keep becoming in liquid form or in solid form. So why is it so? Because of the increase in molecular mass and size, the van der Waals forces of attraction, they increase. So because of increased forces of attraction, there is accumulation, or we can say the molecules, they come nearby, and because they come nearer to each other, so what happens? Because of that, their state changes from gas to liquid or liquid to solid. Okay. Now molecules of organic halogen compounds, they are generally polar. Okay, so the molecules are polar. Now due to greater polarity as well as higher molecular mass as compared to the parent hydrocarbon, the intermolecular forces of attraction are stronger in halogen derivatives. That is why the boiling points of chlorides, bromides and iodides are considerably higher than those of the hydrocarbons of comparable molecular masses. So now see, what is the thing? Now the thing is that the question comes like this, that if we compare the boiling point values of alkyl halides and alkanes, then which will have higher values? So alkyl halides will have higher values because they are polar in nature, and because of polarity there are strong dipole-dipole interactions, and there is no such interaction in case of alkanes. So the boiling point values of alkyl halides are higher than that of alkanes. Okay. Now let us check here. Okay, now see, let us compare diagrammatically. Now see, this red one, first of all let us compare the red ones, this one and this one. Now which compounds I am comparing? I am comparing CH3Cl. See, red stands for Cl. CH3Cl, this is C2H5Cl, this is C3H7Cl. So what is the difference? The difference among these three is that there is increase in the molecular mass. So with the increase in molecular mass and size, the value of boiling point, that will increase. Okay. Similarly, if I compare bromides, then also we are going to see the same trend, and if we see iodides, then again we are going to see the same trend. Now one more thing which we can compare over here is that if I compare CH3Cl with CH3Br and CH3 I. Okay, now see what is the difference between these three. The difference is in the halo group. So since the size of halo group and molecular mass of halo group increases as we move from chloride to bromide or to iodide, then the boiling point value also increases in the same fashion. Okay, now the attractions get stronger as the molecules get bigger in size and have more electrons. For the same alkyl group, the boiling points of alkyl halides decrease in the order Ri is greater than Rbr is greater than Rcl is greater than Rf. So what does it mean? If alkyl group is same but the halo group has higher mass, then what will happen? That particular alkyl halide in which halo group is having higher mass, that will have higher value of boiling point. Okay, this is what we compared above. Okay, now see, these are the three examples and we have taken their boiling point values also. In this case, the boiling point value is 375. In this case, boiling point value is 364. In this case, it is 346. So what is the difference between these three? These three are isomers. They are having the same molecular formula. What is the formula? C4H9Br. All are having the same formula. Okay. Now see, what is the difference? This is primary, this is secondary, and this is tertiary. So as we move from primary to secondary to tertiary, then what happens? Branching increases. Because of increase in branching, there is decrease in surface area. So because of decrease in surface area, the extent of interaction between the molecules, that decreases. So with the increase in branching, there is decrease in surface area and decrease in the interactions going on between the molecules. So what happens? The boiling point values also decrease. Okay. Now see, if we talk about isomeric dihaloarenes, then what happens? See, this is ortho, this is meta, and this is para. So if we compare, then ortho is having slightly higher value than meta and para is having higher value than meta. Okay, so what is the reason? Now see, in case of ortho product, there is one effect that is called ortho effect. Because of ortho effect, when they are nearby each other, means when the two groups attached are in ortho position in respect to each other, then they stabilize each other. Because of this stability, they are having higher values of boiling point. Okay, so because of ortho effect, ortho product is having higher value of this boiling point, and in case of para, it is having higher value than meta. The reason is symmetry. Para is more symmetrical as compared to meta, so it is having higher value of boiling point as compared to meta product. Now as far as melting point is concerned, then symmetry of the molecule is more dependent. Symmetry is such thing which will play more role. So out of all these three forms, para form is the most symmetrical form. So when we see its crystal lattice, then the fitting is much proper. So because of most proper fitting of these molecules in their crystal lattices, the melting point values are maximum in case of para. And in case of ortho, because of ortho effect, they are having slightly more values than meta. But in case of meta and ortho, in both the cases, the structures do not fit very properly, very symmetrically in the crystal lattice, so they come like this. Okay, now let us discuss next properties. The next property is density. Okay, now see, density is mass over volume. Now bromo, iodo and polychloro derivatives of hydrocarbons are heavier than water. Okay, as when we compare these, then they will be heavier than water. The density increases with increase in number of carbon atoms, halogen atoms, and atomic mass of the halogen atoms. Now see, these are the three factors. Which factor is dominating where, that we have to check. Now see, when we compare these three, then what is the difference between these three? There is difference of the halo group attached. R group is same, C3H7, 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 but the halo group is chloro, bromo and iodo. And as we move from top to bottom, when we start moving from top to bottom, what we find? We find that there is increase in size as well as mass. So with the increase in size as well as mass, their density value will increase as we move from top to bottom. Now see, in this case, what is the difference? There is similar number of carbon atoms, but there are increase in number of halogen atoms. So because of increase in number of halogen atoms, there will be increase in the density as we move from top to bottom. Okay. Now let us come to solubility. Now here question comes that although haloalkanes are polar in nature, but they are not soluble in water. Why? So what is the reason? See, in case of haloalkanes, polarity is there. Polarity is there, but they are not able to form hydrogen bonds. There is no hydrogen bond formation with water molecules. So with water molecules, they don't form hydrogen bonds, so they are not soluble in water. Okay, so this is the simple reason which you can quote for this. Okay, now see, on the basis of what we have discussed today, you have to solve these home assignments. Okay, thank you.